to this computer. All right, so today we're going to do listing presentation process. So let me go ahead and share the screen. And so I will show, and I will also share the all this information once I'm done, you know, everything that I'm sharing with you guys. So share. Let me know if you see the screen that I'm sharing. Can y'all see that? Okay.
Mine is actually telling me that I need to like shut it down and restart it. I don't know why. So I'm gonna close it and then hop back on, okay?
Okay, that's fine. All right, so here we go. I made it a little bit bigger. Can you see that, Jamie?
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the protocol or the steps that I take to get a listing in place. If you have a potential listing and they're talking about listing, then you can do what's called a pre-listing consultation. And that's where you put together a little packet and then you go drop it off at their house. For example, you could create a sample brochure, letting them know what we do at LPT and what we offer. You can start with a cover page, and I do have samples of all this I can share with you guys on Canva so that you can go in and change it and make it your own. So definitely think about that. You can do a cover letter where you're basically just saying thank you for the opportunity and, you know, I look forward to working with you, things like that. And then you have the informational items in there. Things like, you know, why they need an agent, some tips for selling their home. Maybe you can share with them the marketing plan that we have for LPT. And then, of course, a little bit about yourself and share with them that you are on a team and that you're, you know, that they're getting the benefit of not just one person helping them as a listing agent, but they have a team of agents that are going to be here to help them. Okay. And then as you can see, there's 5 pre-listing questions that you need to ask them. And the first question is usually, why do they want to move? Right? We want to know, why do they want to move? Is it in, you know, is the time frame important? Like, do they have a specific time frame? You know, hey, we want to sell before the kids go back to school, or we want to sell before the holidays, or we want to sell whatever the case may be. This way, you know what their motivation is. And then the third question is, what do they want to, what do they think their house is worth? Because, you know, the neighbor sold their house for 200,000. This neighbor sold their house for, you know, 269. Hint, hint, right? Joanna's going through that right now. But this way you have an idea of what they think it's worth. And then when you do your comps, you can come out with a good comparables to match what they want us, you know, to sell their property for. And then question number 4 is, what are some specific features? So that's important when we're creating the CMA, is because we want to know, okay, did they upgrade? Did they, you know, do anything to the restrooms? Did they do anything, you know, what is the current condition of the property, so that when we do our CMA and we do the seller's estimated net, we have those 3 price points. Remember, I talked about, we have the low end if it needs a lot of work, a middle price where it has a little, they've done a little bit but not a lot, or the high price. I mean, they went all out, they've done everything to the house, so it's definitely worth that high point price. And then the last question you ask them is, what do you currently owe on the property? Because this way we can get an idea if they're upside down. Sometimes they might have just bought the house and you don't know, it's only been 2 years. There's not a lot of
Wait,
equity.
you need to turn off the power. Did she say?
So,
Is she out?
Yeah, get out.
I'm sorry. Let me turn it off.
there you go. Thank you. So do they owe a lot on the property? If they do, then that's gonna determine whether this is a good time for them to sell or not. And then prepare behind the scenes what your performance is on the day of listing. So don't wait till the day of listing to talk to them, because then you're gonna be like, what do I say? What do I say? No, let's prepare before. So the first thing you want to prepare, remember my motto is, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. So let's prepare, run the numbers. Let's do RPR. You can do a CMA using RPR, or you can do a CMA, through the matrix. You can start off at anywhere between 25, 0.25 of a mile, depending on how, if it's in a neighborhood or if it's in the outskirts, then we're going to go out a little bit further. And it's okay. You can go out as far as 5 miles if it's a property that's out in, the boonies, and, in the, where there's no other properties to be found. But sometimes you start that out gradually. Don't, do the 5 miles right away, just because they are out in the country. And then narrow your list of properties down to 3 or 5 properties that have sold. And this is based on appraisals. The appraisers usually go out and find 3 properties that are similar, and that's where they get the price point from. And then eliminate any short sales or foreclosures, any estate sales from that list that have sold, because they will bring your numbers down, right? So now, once you've done all that to do your CMA, you're ready to present all this information to your sellers. So let's prepare the initial consultation. So you're going to go, like, for example, I have a listing appointment on Monday. So I have all my paperwork ready at least 2 or 3 days ahead of time, because you don't want to wait till the last minute and not be prepared, right? So I'm going to get there 15 minutes early, because what I'm doing when I get there 15 minutes early is I'm looking at the outside of the property. So now, and the funny thing is, I've been doing this so long. So when I go visit people, or they give me their address and this is a new house I'm going to, I kind of do this already. I look at the property from the outside and say, oh, that roof looks okay, or maybe the roof needs some work, or even when I'm not even going for a listing appointment. So it'll end up becoming something natural for you guys as well. So then when you get there, compliment them, give them a lot of, oh, this is a really great house. And then give them that reassurance that, yeah, oh, yeah, the house will sell. And it will. Every house has its own special buyer. So just reassure them, hey, thanks for the opportunity. And yes, we will get this house sold. Another thing is, if you did give them a pre-listing packet, kind of go over it and ask them, hey, did you get a chance to look at that? Did you have any questions? And then, they'll be like, oh, no, we didn't. Some of them don't get to look at it, and that's okay. But, just know that at least you were ahead of the game, right? Um, so drop everything off as soon as you get to the listing. Drop everything off you can at the table, and then wait to discuss commission after you've taken the tour. Never talk about pricing. Never talk about your commission. None of that until after you've toured the house. And walk around with a notebook or a clipboard or something that you will take notes. And with that said, I'm going to provide you with a few things that helps you with those notes. So for example, if here's a list of the seller's exclusion, because as you go along, they might say, well, we want this, we want a certain to keep the chandelier in the dining room. Okay, so then you're gonna list that chandelier on this seller's exclusion list, and at the end they will sign anything that they're taking with them. Maybe they want to take the drapes, that they, or maybe they were custom made for the house. So I would recommend that they leave them. Things like that you're gonna put there on their exclusion list. Also, when you go to the table, you're going to talk to them about their showing instructions. You know, Do they want you to handle everything? Do they want to be able to have a, a say in the people approving the showings? Is it going to be on a Supra? Is it going to be on a lockbox? When is some good times for them to show? Maybe they're only off on Mondays and they want that whole day to be excluded from showings, then you would put that in there. So these are some things that you need to do to prepare for that listing. And then here is an example. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. But here's an example of what you need to know as you're walking around. I would even print this and have it ready when you're taking that walk around with them. And some of the stuff you can already pre-fill, like the year it was built, the property type, is it 1, 2 stories, 3 stories, is how many bedrooms, does it have, all this you can find out when you run the RPR. Because in RPR, it shows, how many bedrooms, how many baths. Is it in a HOA? Is it not in a HOA? Where is it? Does it have a fireplace? All these things are going to be there for you in the RPR. And so I would pre-fill that, but the rest of it, you don't know. Like, for example, you don't know if the kitchen was updated. And if it was, how long ago did they change out the appliances? Is it gas? Is it electric? Things like that. In the master bath, does it have does it have a tub, or is it just a shower, or is it both? All these things are what you're going to do when you walk around. And then, of course, they're going to tell you at the bottom here, you can write notes. They're going to tell you, well, we added crown molding through the living room, or we changed out the AC 2 years ago. We replaced the roof 6 months ago. Whatever that is, all this is in here. Roof age, roof condition, AC, is it central air, or do they have window units, things like that. So these are all things that you're going to do and talk about when you're walking the property, because then when you get to the table, so here we go. If you have a client that's very talkative, yeah, I don't think you've ever had that experience, right? But if you do have a client who's very talkative, um, ask them things like, well, put yourself in the buyer's shoes. Give me an idea of what are the 5 favorite things that you love about this house that we're going to share with those buyers when they do start walking the house. And then, they'll tell you the neighborhood is really great, or the schools are, awesome. So what about the community can we share? Because what our goal is to remind them of how much they love the house when they first bought it, to bring that energy to the new buyer. Because if now they've already outgrown it and they're talking about, the kids are all grown and we're just tired of it just so much and this and that, that's all negative. So we want them to talk about the positive. Why did you buy this house to begin with? And now let's share that energy with our new prospective buyers, right? And then evaluating the home. That's what I talked about. I gave you all those forms that we need to fill out, and then ask them and reassure them, yes, I'm sure this house is going to sell, but this is what the market has for us. And based on everything that you showed me today, this is where we're at. And you're going to pull out that seller's estimated net with the median, the minimum, the median, and the average sales price that have sold in their neighborhood. And then tell them these are where the prices where I think it should be. And help the client realize, realistically, what is it that, we want to gain out of selling this home. And then put them again in the buyer's shoes. If you're the buyer and you're looking at this house, is this something that, you would like? And sometimes, the new appliances is, something really great, but they were green. Okay. Uh, when you see that, you're like, okay, these are all green appliances. I know green's coming back, the hunter green, but at the same time, remind them, at one time, yes, this was a really great new appliance, but now we've already used it for a certain time. And so this might be something that will be negotiable. And always tell them that everything is negotiable. In my, as long as I've been in, real estate, that has been my motto forever. I let my clients know that everything's negotiable. Price is negotiable, contributions is negotiable. All that is something that will be presented to us when we come to the table. And then guess what? You're going to have them certain expectations of service. You want to be able to give that to them because they're going to expect it, right? You're going to tell them how you're going to market it and listing power tools, right? We're going to promote the listing power tools because that's going to help promote them. And you're going to show them how to use the tools as far as like the little that you get those little cards that come with it, the business cards. Hand it to them, right? Once you get that that toolbox, and just say, look, here's some cards with my information in your house. And if anybody at your job or anybody at your church, anybody is asking, how do I promote my listing? Um, here you go. Give them those cards and say, tell them, hey, my house is for sale. Call my agent. She's really great. She will help you find out the information that you need to purchase the house. And they love it. They really do love it. And I'm so glad that, we have that opportunity with LPT to do that. And then remind them that you're going to check in on a weekly basis, and you can choose whenever that week is, that day is of the week. So for me, it's every Friday. I check in. I let them know, hey, this is what's happened this past week. Looking forward to the weekend, which I'm getting ready to do one of my listings right now, and let them know, hey, maybe this is a time we should reevaluate our pricing. I know the market is a little slow right now. And so, we give them that little spiel. And then from there, we talk about whether we need to reduce or have an open house or whatever the case may be. And then number 2 here on the expectations of service, I check in, I send in a weekly email with the market insight, and I can show you guys how to do the market insight where you're sending them this, it's from HAR, and it's tells them like what houses have sold, what they've been selling for in the neighborhood, and that way it keeps them up to date. And if you have, let's say you have people that, they're buyers and you already actually helped them buy that house like 3-6 months ago, go ahead and put them on a market insight so that they can see the changes in the market and how everything's going. And then who knows, in about 2 to 3 years, that'll still keep going. In 2 to 3 years, when they're ready to sell, they're going to reach out to you and you can help them with the selling of their property. And then number 4 is educate the clients on how your commissions are paid. Remember that you are going to give them the value of negotiating, that you're going to negotiate for them. Right now, let's say you're sitting at the kitchen table and they're saying, oh, well, according to this spreadsheet here that you give me, uh, your commission is, coming out to about 7%. And then you can say, well, yeah, technically, if you look at all, the costs and closing and everything, but yes, that's true. And so then they'll reach out back to you and say, okay, well, can we negotiate that? And I'll say, sure, let's negotiate it. And some might start at 3, and then some might, and if they start off a little bit low, then let them know that, this is, you are running a business and that you have a team that's going to be working on this. And so that way you can show your value and tell them that, well, if I'm negotiating with you right now on my fees, you see how well my negotiation is, then I will negotiate for you every step of the way when we get, some buyers coming in with, odd, odd, odd offers and things like that. And then, of course, with the way we're going right, our new NAR changes, we will definitely let them know that as far as our commission go, we share that commission with the buyer's agent to bring them some qualified buyers. So, so these are just some tidbits and tips and tricks about doing a listing. I might have went a little fast because I know some of you guys are, at work and stuff, but I can slow it down right now and go over any questions you might have. So let me know if you have any questions, or if there's anything else besides anything about the listing.